Right, so first let's see if we don't even get, okay, we have the access to drive. Let me quickly open and see what access is missing, and then we can, okay, so you wanted access
Okay.
to the data catalog, right? Okay,
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I tried giving it, but I thought I don't know where I was doing wrong. Yeah, only these three I saw that time.
okay, so you don't have the access to create a discovery board. Okay,
Yes, correct.
so
Yeah.
discovery board create, let's see if this domain is enabled. Uh, mm, Policy not enabled. Okay. So what I'll do is I would go ahead and enable this.
Oh,
Okay.
but
And this is done. And now
hmm,
I would edit the permissions. So let's first see who has the drive permissions. I think HR administrator, the user you would be logged in as, would have the HR admin. And let's also give access to uh, implement all implementers. And in fact, I think we should give access to managers and right. We'll give them modify access. Okay,
okay.
and now we can activate our pending security policy
But
changes.
I thought I did this last time when I was trying anyways. Maybe I
No,
did something wrong.
okay, no problem. Let's see if this works. This should work because the domain gives uh, the create access to the discovery boards.
But when I saw the actions, right, the securable action, so
Hmm.
usually if there is any specific task, it will tell you like worker, I mean worker benefits
Now
and
you
then
have,
view benefits. What? Okay. 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 All
uh,
right.
all right. So let's create our discovery board. Then I am not sure how. So we'll call it WP, and what is our batch? It is 17th of November. 17th. We'll call it discovery board 1. Okay, so we were talking about the two different field types, right? And attributes are basically used for your groupings, whereas, sorry, and then you have the summarizations, excuse me, which are, so I am searching for the first aspect, which is my data source panel, and I'm selecting my data source. And okay, we'll select, let's say, all workers, because I'll create a few discovery boards on terminated workers as well, and apply. Okay, so last time we created our discover visualization of type table, right? Uh, this time, let's look at the next visualization type. So we created visualization of type table, and it's simply a advanced table, right? You can add any number of attributes. Okay, so let's start with chart.
Okay.
Okay, so uh, let's say I want to identify the gender count in my organization. I'm
Okay.
expanding basic bio, and where is gender? I want to get the gender, and basically what I want is so the moment you select any visualization type, what system does is uh, system would show you the default summarization of count, right? So until or unless you have selected the a specific summarization, system shows you the default of uh, count. Okay, all right. Uh, make sense? Questions? Hello, are you there?
Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Yeah, so the blank is nothing but the nothing no one has access to, correct? I mean, the
Which
gender
blank?
is not decided.
Yes.
There is a
So
blank,
probably these employees have not specified any gender, right? So
right?
many times
Right.
when these are all, this is test system. So people when they hire, they have hired people without any gender, right? Because
Right.
it's the
Right.
process. Okay. Now, let's say the other, I want to check the gender of the employee based on, let's
Mhm.
say, their management level, right? Now, when I pull management level and try to add it to y-axis, if you see y-axis is grayed out,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
So I cannot add, and this is what I discussed last time. The system automatically, so when it comes to a chart, you cannot have two attributes or an attribute in x as well as y. So however, what I can
Mm.
do is I can add management level in, let's say, the color,
Oh.
right? The second thing, so now it shows that there are 221 females, and let's look at, and it shows all of them are managers. Is so male count is 301. Okay, let's do one thing. So the next thing that you can do is you can create filters the on the visualization itself. So now if I go to filter, right, I can create two levels of visualization. The first, sorry, I can create two types of filters. The first is filters can be applicable on the visualizations, and then I can add filter on the entire sheet itself. So I want to add a filter
Mm.
on my visualization, and the filter I'm selecting is gender, and I'm saying is not empty. The moment I do that, now if you see my blank is no longer
Yeah.
visible, right? So now it
Right.
makes much more sense because out of
Correct.
some 200 and plus key levels, I have
Mm.
this is my again. Usually in a system you'll not have these number of management levels, but this is again a test system. People have created all sorts of management levels.
So
So maybe
the one question I had, so
hmm
on the chat, right? So
hmm
usually on the chat you get an option to display the data points also. Right now, what is happening is you're scrolling down, so you know the number of users in each of the colors. So, for example, yeah. So,
right.
can we display the data points there, like that 118, the count, especially the count?
No, at this
And
point in time, unfortunately, it doesn't offer those
yeah,
options. So let's see what are the options that are
okay.
offered.
Yeah.
Okay. So the first thing is if I click on X axis, it allows me to sort my
Mhm.
data. Right? And right now it is sorted
Okay.
in an alphabetic ascending order. I can select any other option. These are common options that are usually available in matrix report as well. Right?
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. So when I say some remaining values, so everything that is not available in this, and that's why if you see it was showing me blank, right? Because I
Yeah.
select basically everything else show in a separate column, wherein those gender attributes are not explicitly defined. Now, even though some
Mm.
remaining values is checked, the reason it is not showing me that blank is because I have removed them in terms of filter itself. Makes sense?
Okay.
Okay.
Correct.
The second thing, on the y-axis, if you're taking a chart, you can only show a summarization. So what you can do
Mm.
is within x-axis, you can add multiple groupings. So let's say I want to add company,
So, is it either like a row grouping or a
right? So this is similar
column
to
grouping?
yes. But
Okay.
then
Okay. Mm.
in y-axis, you cannot have any other attribute. So now what I've done is in x-axis, I have added company. What I'll do is
Mm.
I'll go to the filter panel. It shows a lot of companies. Let me on the sheet level, let me add a summary. So this filter I'm applying not on my individual visualization, rather I'm adding this filter to the entire sheet. So no matter how
Content.
many
Okay,
visualization
okay,
I
okay. Okay, got you.
need, so I am saying company in the list and I'm adding only let's say global modern services companies. Else this is a test system
Right,
that I have created.
right, right.
So let's add this with a shift. Okay.
So it's dynamic, isn't it? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Because
So
as
the
and
moment
when you're doing, it's getting
it
refreshed.
keeps updating, yes. So this
Oh,
in the back end, this is actually a query. So the as you keep
right,
updating your queries, it
right.
dynamically runs and updates. Okay,
Okay.
so what I've done is so the second thing, what you can do is any filters that you have defined at your sheet level or any
Mm-hmm.
filters that you have defined at your visualization level. You can move those
Okay.
filters up and down. So for example, this is a sheet level filter. I can
Yeah. You
here
can move it to
and I
show.
can move it to a visualization. Similarly, if I have added some filter at my visualization, now for example, I'm saying within these companies, I only want data for employees in let's say country, uh, location address country in let's say states and kingdom, right? So what I've done is for at the entire oh, where did it go? Okay, At the entire sheet, I have put this as a visualization, this as the filter,
Mhm.
but on my visualization, this is my filter. Now, if I want, I can move this visualization, move this filter from visualization to
Mhm.
sheet, and then it becomes applicable
So,
for all the visualizations, or vice versa.
yeah,
Okay.
can I add an or condition, like let's say,
No.
um,
So,
no, okay,
so here,
only
what
add is it?
happens? Yes. So if I add a new condition,
Mhm.
now this becomes an and condition,
Right, okay.
right? So I can add any number of filters if I want to.
Okay, not necessary, whatever the sheet level field you have chosen, so they will also appear as part of, only those fields will be available as part of which data.
No, no,
So
not
it's
necessary.
not
So
necessary.
filter,
Okay.
so everything is
So
based on the data source that you have selected.
on that data
So,
source. Okay, okay, okay,
so
okay.
your filters could be on completely different field versus what you have
Mhm.
used on your visualization or visualizations.
Okay, so can I, so the other question I had was like, can I get the data from two different sources and then, so
No.
let's say, okay,
Okay, go ahead. Go
okay.
ahead. Ask your question and then we can.
Okay, so let's say certain data I have it from the workday and certain data I'm getting it from the third party file, let's say, if maybe a
Exactly.
file. So can I do some merging or union or intersection and then
Hmm.
do the tables on top of that, the graphing on top of that?
Yes. So you can do that, but for those
Mhm.
merging and unions and joins, so Prism Analytics is for that purpose. So you want
Oh,
to
not
merge
with,
data.
okay.
Yes. So you want to merge data from different sources in Workday, right? Maybe you want to merge
Hmm.
your HCM data with your payroll data, with your financial
Right.
data. So you'll create
Mm-hmm.
multiple reports. You'll bring data into your Prism data source, data catalog, and you can also bring data from your external systems, right? Non-Workday systems. There you do all the transformations. The final data that you have it's your published data set that becomes your data source, and you can then use that data source to then create discovery board. So ultimately understand that discovery board is simply a report, right? So a
Right.
report
Right.
simply consumes the data or analyzes the data which is already there, right? But how that data is being prepared, that is either Workday delivered data, which is available in terms of Workday delivered data sources, or it is your custom data that you have modified, transformed, blend using your Prism Analytics. Okay.
So
So,
when you mentioned about Prism Analytics,
mhm,
it's not a separate system altogether. It
no,
is within Workday, but you have
yes, it is within
it's
Workday,
within Workday. Okay.
right?
Okay.
Right? A logically separate environment. So, for example, financials is within Workday, right? You have Workday HCM and Workday Financials.
Right.
So
Right.
that's how it is.
Right. Okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay. So now, so as I keep updating my filters, system system uh, keeps updating my visualizations, right? What I can another
And
feature. Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt.
No problem.
I
Go ahead.
don't know. I have this bad habit. So basically, in a sheet, you can add as many visualizations you can, right?
It's
But with the
maximum of
same
10,
set of. Ah,
right?
okay,
Maximum of
fine.
10. In a sheet, we can. So this is similar to a dashboard, right? In a dashboard, you have maximum of
Mm,
6 worklets. This is similar to that.
yeah,
If
six
we have more
workload.
than that, it
Okay.
becomes too cluttery to actually use.
Clumsy and yeah, sure. Okay, okay.
But then you can add multiple sheets. So if you click here, you can create a new sheet.
Mm. But how do I add another visualization within this
Yeah,
sheet one?
yes, we'll do that. Okay.
Okay.
We'll add another visualization. All right. So I've saved it. Let's click here and go back to my builder panel. Now, as I mentioned, the default summarization is always count if you have not
Mm-hmm.
explicitly added any summarizations for yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
What I'll do is I'll remove this and here I'll add.
Can I add multiple summarizations also?
Okay, so if I say gender, the section automatically new section becomes created. Right? So maybe I want to select apart from gender, what else do you want me to select? Uh,
Maybe management.
let's say age.
Okay. Mm.
Okay, here it doesn't allow me. So there are
Oh,
few
okay, okay.
summarizations wherein it allows me. There are few summarizations wherein it doesn't.
Um,
But then
okay,
within x-axis, for example, I have added company. Now I am adding
right.
within that company location country.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So I can add multiple x-axis as per my requirement.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I wanted. I wanted the gender distribution, right? Okay, now let's say for each of these employees, let me search for salary or total base pay. Base pay amount. Now, if you see, this is a currency related field, right? So when I click here,
Mm-hmm.
it
Yeah.
has summarizations, and I want to probably show. So on y-axis, instead of count, I want to
Mm-hmm.
show the sum of the total base pay. Okay. Now the problem here is again, if you have dealt with currencies, you know that system doesn't deal with multiple currencies, right? So it cannot add
Yeah.
employees using different
Mm-hmm.
currencies. So that is the error I'm getting. So probably I'll have to convert this. Let's see if there is any calculated field already created. CF. If I take any total base pay annualized amount, so I I know there is a two currency related field. This one. Let me add this one. Now this query works, right? And the reason this is working is if I have to show you. So there are actually two kinds of fields in Workday if you have done compensation related reporting. So if I search for field
Mm-hmm.
total base pay amount. Okay, so this is my first field, which is what I have selected now without a hyphen. And then this is the earlier fields that I had set. So this field basically shows you the raw data. So if my currency is in INR, simply shows you data in terms of INR. Whereas this field, it shows you the converted data which is converted in terms of US dollar.
Mm-hmm.
And that is
Yes,
why
yes.
for this, it is, yeah, so this is that field, the third one, the annualized base pay for the employee's primary job. And this always shows data in terms of US dollars. And that is why now it is not giving me an error, right? Because all data is in terms of US dollars. So again, unless I I add a summarization, Workday uses the default summarization outcome.
Mm-hmm.
It would just take a bit of time to understand the different options, else discovery boards is very easy.
So what kind of real-time examples we would encounter? So maybe you would have experienced from your past. Like,
Okay,
the
so at this
common,
point,
well, not the common, but a
okay.
real-time use case.
So at this point in time, with the capabilities that see, for that we need to understand who is the target audience for a discovery board. So the target
Mm-hmm.
audience for discovery board is actually at this point in time mainly your partners, your managers, your administrators, right? So for example, compensation administrators, HR administrators, HR partners. So discovery board, it's not a technical object, right? So the idea of the use case for a discovery board is, as per Workday, any non-technical user. So I'm simply a manager, right? I'm some field user. I can prepare simple reports to understand what is happening within my team, right? The same thing a comp admin can do, a benefits admin can do, an HR partner. So, and these people, they are completely non-technical. So the primary reports that are usually built by end users, right? These are around
Right.
these analytics. For example, a manager may want to see the average number of leaves my employees are taking or my team is taking,
Mm-hmm.
right? The working hours clock this year versus next year. So usually when it comes to discovery boards, the end user team doesn't create a lot of discovery boards because the access is usually given to all managers or all administrators themselves. At a very high
Mm-hmm.
level, we create these analytic report, these diversity related reports. So, for example, gender count by company, the maximum salary versus minimum salary in a given company, and so on and so forth, right? But still, I can get some examples for you from the current project I am.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So here I'm calling this visual. Okay. The second thing. So let's rename this visualization. I'm calling it. Let's remove this. Remember.
Can we add a summarization at x-axis and in y-axis we can add the and
No, I don't
y-axis?
think that is possible. But we can try that. I don't think that is possible. But let me try that. Okay. So I'm removing this and I'm removing this. Let me drag uh,
So
gender.
the y-axis,
So it is grayed out. If you see. So it is
yeah,
not allowing.
yeah.
So it can only be
But
added. Okay. This is basically for. Okay. So let's say now on uh, x-axis I have the count. On the y-axis I want a different summarization. Okay. So I'm saying total base pay amount. Uh, what was our summarization that we had selected just now? Total base pay. Where is total base pay amount? This is the field that I'm looking for. Total base pay amount. So I'm adding one of the axis as sum. Okay, now if you see, I have this icon, it identifies. So many times you have this reporting that is done on two axes, right? So on one of the parameter, you want, this case, I'm taking sum of the total base pay. This is a converging y-axis. I want to add a dual y-axis. Let me select that. And on the other end, what I want is the average base pay, right? The y-axis I want to be of this pattern. Oh, well, uh, this I want as a bar. And this is already a line. But why is that I cannot see a line? Okay, sorry. Okay, so on one
Ah,
hand, now if you see, I'm looking at the total sum of base pay of females, males not declared in
right,
black. On the
right.
right hand side, I'm actually looking at their average base pay, right? So this is for
Okay,
creating those dual charts, right? Many times you want reporting to be done on two metrics. So we have on one
right.
end, we can do a y-axis. So your summarization. So let's talk about everything that we discussed. So this is a summarization of type chart visualization, right? On x-axis,
Mm-hmm.
it only allows us to add attributes. On y-axis, we can add summarizations. X-axis, okay. So we can add one or more attributes on x-axis. On summarizations, there are again two options. We add one or more summarizations on the same axis, right? This is a
Yeah.
merged y-axis, right? Or we can show different summarizations on both vertical axis, which is basically the dual y-axis. So if I go back earlier, oh, let's click on this once again. So if I look at the options here, either we have the dual y-axis or the merged y-axis. Make sense? Question, sorry, I cannot hear you. Your voice is, there's a bit of disturbance.
No, no, no. This is clear.
Mm-hmm.
So what we are saying is we can add multiple summarizations, but there should be some limit, right? I mean, on the summarization,
See,
how many we
as
can add
such,
also.
I have gone through the workday documentation. It doesn't, I have not seen any limit being defined. if you see, the
Okay.
only limit would be imposed, but by what you can logically understand, right? So if, for example, I add uh, any other management level here, you saw how clumsy it all became. So I don't think
Yeah.
Workday has. So the limit is what you can understand, right? If you cannot understand the visualization itself, if you had 10 summarizations and end user cannot make a sense of it, then it's better we create a new visualization, right?
Okay.
Instead of including everything in a zip. But as such, if you go through the community document yourself, and I'm sure you have access to community, you were mentioning that other day, uh, Workday
Yeah.
itself doesn't give any such that you can only add X summarizations. I have at least not seen anywhere. Okay. Uh, the second thing. So this is uh, gender. So let's rename this gender by salary, right? And I can override the display value. So I can click on any axis. So here as well, you can see apart from identifying how I want to sort data, right? I also have the option to override the display value. Okay, so y-axis this, I want to override it and I'm calling it sum of sum total salary. Okay, sorry, sum total salary. And let's apply this. So this becomes now sum total salary. Let me override the right side as well, and I'm calling it average salary. And let's apply. So I have overwritten this as well.
Can we change the color of the graph, let's say?
No, no, it doesn't allow.
Only the.
Even with you would have
Okay.
seen with matrix report as well, right? It doesn't allow you to
Okay.
select a different color. Or when you have
No,
built,
when I say that, okay, you have chosen to the left, you have chosen bar, and to the
Mhm,
right, you have chosen line.
right?
And although we are mentioning it, just it has that lighter green in bar and dark. So I think if I want to represent the average in a, maybe in orange or something like that, just
Yeah,
to
yeah,
have a
makes sense.
clear
This is
distinction. Clear
I
distinction.
know, and this is a very, I mean, asked feature. But even with matrix reports, Workday has not given till now, right? Even with matrix report, we have the same problem. When you create a matrix report, it automatically renders the colors. So no, at least till this point in time, there's no such option.
So the
Okay,
other point
the
is,
next.
let's say now,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So let's say you have added the summarization. On top of that, you want to further group by some other, maybe by management level like you did. So maybe
Hmm.
I want to see the gender is fine and the salary is fine, but I
Hmm.
want to further drill down by management level. So is that
Okay,
still possible by adding it to the color?
yes. So let me add search for management level. It's not giving with an X and Y axis. I believe that option is not possible.
Okay.
Okay. So if I remove X and Y axis, it would give
You
me
can,
that
you
option.
should be. You
So
might.
save this, and then we'll add one more visualization, and then we'll check what you're asking for. Okay. So I have
Yeah.
created my first visualization. Can we create one more visualization? We have 6 minutes, so I can do that. All I have to do is, on this visualization that I have created, I can now export it as a report. I can download it as a PNG, and that is something we'll talk about next. But then I can also create a duplicate visualization. Now when you create duplicate visualization, system basically copies your visualization exactly similar as the
Okay.
first. Now I can click here, and I don't want this to be a, so let's remove this, because I want this to be a merged one. My query is running, and now let's add management level. So with the merged one, I can add a management level. Make sense? Hello, you there?
Sorry, but you still have y-axis.
Yeah, with a merged one, we can add
But I
management,
thought,
not with a dual.
oh,
So this is the
oh,
difference, right? This is a dual one. If you look at the icon, two y-axis, whereas this visualization is a merged visualization with a single y-axis. Make sense?
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. So the third is color,
Hmm.
only applicable for
Okay.
visualizations
So,
with a merged y-axis or without y-axis. Yeah, go ahead.
when we say merged, what does that mean?
It means
So,
you are only showing your summarization on one axis. So if you see dual, here I am showing summarization on both y-axis,
two.
here as well as here. So this is
Sure,
left
sure.
and right,
Mhm.
right?
Okay.
So I'm basically showing this. If you go to any any Word document, right? You have, or any PPT,
Mhm.
you have this ability. So let me show you insert and charts. So it is basically a combo chart. So in combo chart, you have two metrics that can be displayed,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
uh, everything else, these are all single charts. So yours is showing either line or pie or bar or area. This is all a single chart,
Mhm.
whereas this is a
Gotcha.
combo chart.
So the dual is equivalent to combo,
Combo chart,
and merge is equivalent to the other type of
right?
chart.
A single chart, right?
Okay.
So dual, this corresponds to a combo chart. My battery is almost dead. It might shut down, but that is fine. So I have created a new visualization, and here
Right.
I'm able to add the color as well. And the reason I'm able to add a color is because this is a single chart, or in
Mhm.
terms of working, it's a merged
Right.
visualization.
Right. Right. Okay.
And I can save my visualization. So there are a few other chart types. We'll talk about marks types. We'll look at out exporting our data, and we'll look at a few other options. Sharing our discovery boards, the security with
Mhm.
respect to discovery boards. So we'll talk about all those aspects tomorrow.
Okay.